You want reality TV? Follow us as we show you the side of police chase videos you normally don't see. Wild arrest, kamikaze crooks, and some of the most intense moments caught on video. Next on Hot Pursuit. Most people ring in the new year with some drinks and partying, but not the guy in the car ahead. Apparently, he's celebrating his new year with a massive crime spree. For starters, the white car he's driving is stolen. And on top of auto theft, he's also guilty of drunk driving, as well as weaving in and out of traffic like a maniac and endangering anyone he passes. It's obvious this cop would rather be celebrating than chasing this crook, but for now, he must protect and serve. This officer decided it's time to end the chase. But the fleeing suspect remains unfazed. With less than 15 minutes to go until midnight, the pursuing officer just wants this guy to pull over and get out of his car so he can arrest him. Apparently, this guy has other plans. The officer makes a sizable dent in the stolen car's rear. It appears the tactic worked. But watch carefully as the officer approaches the car. The officer has no idea what's in store. Thinking he's about to make an arrest, he's completely taken by surprise when the crook takes off again. And this time he's successful, as he gets far enough away that the police can no longer find him. This car thief obviously wanted to end the year with a bang. But having committed no fewer than 12 driving violations during tonight's fun and games, he'll have plenty to choose from when it comes to making his New Year's resolutions. The guy in this red SUV is very annoyed that he's been caught speeding.
I'll have to plead guilty if I got to work, because I can't take the court, take the day off. Goddamn asshole. Now just give me the goddamn thing, let me get out of here.
Normally, this level of lip service would virtually guarantee you a ticket straight to jail. But somehow, the officer manages to keep his cool in the face of all the verbal abuse.
Can I explain it to you, sir, so you'll know what you need to do?
I know what I do. You're ripping me off, and I didn't deserve it because I didn't do nothing wrong.
The driver claims he's innocent, this time. It seems he's pretty familiar with the process.
I saw it 55, and I
What I need you to do is sign the X so I can explain this to you.
There ain't no explaining. I got picked up for speeding before. You're guilty, and you pay the fine, and hope your insurance don't go up. And you try not to speed the next time. And that's what I've been trying to do for 4 or 5 years, and it's worked damn good till I run into you. So.
Luckily, this guy's run across a very patient police officer. If it were anybody else, he'd probably be in jail by now.
Read the back of this hard copy. This will explain how you can have a trial if you want one. On the back, that'll explain it. Attaches an envelope.
For a moment, it looks like the man's insane outburst is over, until he finds out how big his fine is.
The fine's right here, sir. It's $137.50.
You're crazy! I get it! You're crazy! My wife took money out of her goddamn account where she's working to pay my insurance so I wouldn't get picked up. You're crazy!
If you don't pick this up, sir, I'm going to summons you for littering.
I'll pick the goddamn 100. Are you crazy? I wasn't even speeding, you goddamn fool! $100 and some dollars! Jesus Christ!
There's some more right there.
I've never heard of a fine like that in my life, you goddamn fool! You fool! Let me get the out of your sight, you goddamn miserable.
And just when you thought it was over, the crazed man makes sure he gets the last word.
Like I said, my wife, out of the grace of her heart, when I came home, that she had taken money out of her savings account because I'm dead broke. If we can get this economy going again and start treating people fair and get assholes like you to do something decent instead of picking up some It's a guy that wasn't speeding to begin with.
Bye.
When this speeding driver goes bananas,
$137.50.
You're crazy! I get it! You're crazy!
the officer somehow keeps his cool.
Do you want your license and registration?
And while the officer kept a level head, it's probably safe to assume that this guy is out of his mind.
Bye.
Next on Hot Pursuit, an Ohio State trooper narrowly escapes with his life. And there's fireworks on this Alabama expressway. And now to Texas, where the state motto is friendship. Let's watch some of that friendship in action.
Ma'am, the reason why you're being stopped today is failed to come to a complete stop at the stop sign.
On a routine patrol, the officer has just stopped this female driver for some minor traffic violations. Everything appears calm at the moment, but watch carefully as another car pulls up in front.
Miles an hour, and then you slow down to about 30.
This vehicle belongs to the woman's husband. Let's just say he's not there to make friends with the police.
You're just on your way home. Sir, stay in your vehicle. Sir, I asked you to stay in your vehicle. I'm not violating any law. Yes, you are. You're coming right in the middle of my bike.
Before things get out of hand, the trooper takes out his pepper spray to keep the man at bay.
Right in the middle of my bike.
And now that he's blinded by the pepper spray, any possible threat the husband may have posed has been neutralized.
Honey, I can't see.
The officer gets him to the ground, holds him down, and calls for backup just in case.
322, 10-4. Ma'am, stay back or you're going to get something. Stay back now! Now!
Why are you arresting him?
What have I done? Listen, you little jerk off. What have I done? Fail to obey a peace officer, sir. My eyes hurt. I understand, sir.
Finally, backup arrives to take the man away.
I can't see, hon. I need to check his ankles real quick.
The husband's been hurt. He's been temporarily blinded and may also have sustained a leg injury. This cop's lucky the woman's husband only gave him lip. Things could have turned a lot more violent. Luckily, the officer was able to defuse the situation. This routine vehicle pursuit in Los Angeles starts off with a very familiar scenario. Crook flees police in shabby, beaten-up car and drives across town with a number of squad cars on his tail. But this is Hollywood, where they do things a little bit differently. A camera crew is covering every twist and turn, from a helicopter. And thanks to TV and radio coverage, the runaway driver starts to pick up a bit of a cult following. As the hours tick by and the sun begins to set, this guy's celebrity status grows. And local residents start to cheer him on from the side of the road. At this point, the fugitive has become something of a folk hero. But when the police eventually manage to stop him, not even his most ardent fans can save him. And the cops almost end up with a riot on their hands. The show finally comes to an end when the leading man is pulled from his vehicle. Thanks to the eye in the sky, this runaway quickly gained fame. But when the locals tried to intervene, the police almost ended up with a riot on their hands. SUV stands for Sports Utility Vehicle, but you'll rarely find one involved in any actual sporting activity. And ironically, the majority of the people who drive them fall into two categories: hardened gangsters and suburban moms. The most important thing to know about SUVs is that they're prone to rolling over, meaning the tiniest of nudges in just the right place, such as here, will almost always result in a crash. Let's see that move again, this time from the squad car behind the one that rams the SUV. Interestingly, this particular model appears to be equipped with an ejector seat as standard instead of the usual seat belts and airbags. Even so, it should be relatively easy to make the arrest. It's always worth checking the SUV for secret compartments. You never know what or who you might find. So if police are chasing a suspect driving an SUV and there's no other vehicles on the road, it's always worth giving it a quick shove, see if any criminals fall out. At that point, it should be relatively easy to make an arrest without anybody else on the road getting hurt. Here's one crash where the police don't get so lucky. By the time this officer arrives at the scene, the accident has already happened, or so he thinks. The car just ahead of the squad car in front has been involved in a collision, and this cop has just come to lend a hand. Lightning doesn't strike twice, they say. Well, whoever they are, they couldn't be more wrong. In fact, this catastrophic collision takes down not just one, but two cops. Look closely, and you'll see a second officer sitting behind the wheel of the cruiser ahead, just as disaster strikes. But however devastating this crash and its aftermath might appear, both officers went on to make full recoveries. Next on Hot Pursuit, we get a bird's eye view of a big crash. And sparks fly on an Alabama highway. On his way to the scene of one dangerous situation, this officer is about to find himself right in the middle of another. The policeman in this cruiser has been called to assist in an incident involving a stolen vehicle, and he needs to get there fast. Unfortunately, most of the road is being taken up by this enormous 18-wheeler. Sirens blaring, the cop tries to overtake the large truck, but on these narrow New Hampshire roads, it's just too dangerous. Eventually, the truck driver pulls over out of harm's way, or so he thinks. It appears as if the driver in this red truck doesn't even stop to look left or right, let alone straight ahead. The other cop will have to wait for assistance while this officer deals with a situation of his own. Driving down the wrong side of the highway in order to get away from the cops is usually not a good idea, because it's really only a matter of time before you come face to face with someone coming the other way. And in the unlikely event that you manage to survive a head-on collision like this, you'll be a sitting duck for the cops when they eventually turn up. Why? Because when your vehicle is crushed like a tin can, you're almost certainly going to need a fire engine or two to surgically remove you from the wreck. In this instance, everyone miraculously escapes without serious injury. The victims, though, are understandably pretty shaken up. And while the runaway may have escaped death, he couldn't escape the cops. The lesson to be learned here, when you go against the flow, just don't be surprised if some old friends crash the party too. If you're a crook who regularly finds himself in police chase situations, then it's extremely important to check your tires regularly. Because if you're the sort of cheapskate who wears out his rubber until it's bald, then it's more than likely that something like this will happen. It might not look that bad, but a blowout like this will almost always signal the end of the chase. At this point, you have two choices. You can either run away on foot and risk getting shot, or you can just give yourself up. And if you're not 100% sure of what to do, then don't worry. The cops will be sure to help you figure it out. Once the cuffs are on, the arrest is basically complete. All that's left is for the cops to restrain the perp until backup arrives. So remember, before you go on a crime spree, you might want to check your tires first. Otherwise, you could blow your cover. Up next, this DUI decides not to stick around.
Get up.
And this mullet man meets the muzzle of this cop's gun. Most of the time, the easiest crooks to catch are the ones who have no idea how to drive. The guy ahead, for example, couldn't drive a car if it had training wheels on it. If he can't even keep all four wheels on the ground, then there's little chance he'll be able to escape. On the bright side, at least he's managing to stay under the speed limit. But his vehicle can only take so much punishment.
He's got a flat, he ain't gonna last.
The cop's right, and even the fugitive realizes it's probably the end of the road. After a brief stay inside the vehicle, the officers finally drag the world's worst getaway driver out of his car, get him face down on the ground, and take him down from behind. This guy's driving skills killed his chances, so when he's finally pulled over, the police waste no time in showing him the full power of the force. Divorce can often be a messy situation, but a run-in with the cops can make things even worse. The cops figured the guy in the SUV here was way too drunk when they found him driving on the shoulder.
Have you been drinking tonight, sir? No, sir. You haven't had anything to drink tonight at all? Not at all.
The man flatly denies that he's been drinking, but does admit to being in a local bar. He quickly launches into a sob story that he hopes will get him off the hook.
Here's my problem. I'm going through divorce right now.
But the man's sad tale has little effect on the cops' line of questioning.
How much have you had to drink tonight, sir? Officer, nothing. Not a thing? No, sir. Would you take a preliminary breath test? No, sir. Why not? No, sir. How much have you had to drink tonight, bud? I can smell it, man. Officer, I will not take a breath.
Sensing an imminent arrest, the man tries a new tactic to gain the officer's sympathy.
Going through a divorce. I just gotta go home. I gotta go home.
But apparently, not even the waterworks can crack through this cop's tough exterior. So the officer proceeds to administer a series of drunk driving tests.
Yes, sir. Okay, when I tell you to, sir, what I want you to do is tip your head back, close your eyes, recite the alphabet starting at D and stopping at X. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, E, F. You want to try it again? Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead.
But with way too much alcohol in his system, there's no way this guy can pass the tests. He even tries to spare himself further embarrassment by confessing his guilt.
14, officer, you have me.
But the man continues to humiliate himself even more.
I want you to put your right foot in front of your left, touching heel to toe. Yes, sir. Right now for me.
With all the tests complete, the suspect seems to realize that he's failed. Watch as he tries to move towards his car.
Charles Edward. Okay, sir, keep your hands in your pockets for me. Come back here.
It looks as if he might try to drive off. For some reason, he thinks he can escape.
Put your hands on the hood of the car right now. S3, get over here.
And there he goes.
Get out of the car. Get up.
The officer swiftly switches into pursuit mode. But it seems the runaway wasn't listening to the cops' earlier warnings about driving too close to the side of the road.
He's in the ditch. He's in the ditch.
Because this time, he goes right over the edge. This crybaby has already been ditched by his wife. But when he tries to bail out of this arrest,
Put your hands on the hood of the car right now.
he just winds up getting ditched all over again.
He's in the ditch. He's in the ditch.